What's up guys, Houndish here, and today we're jumping in with just a little bit of Destiny 2 Beyond Light news. Of course, we are one day away from the launch of the expansion, so we got preload coming up shortly. We've had that tease for the end of season event, all things that we should look out for later on today. But in addition, Xbox New Zealand does have some new Beyond Light gameplay that we'll talk about just a little bit. And there isn't an absolutely massive amount of new gameplay here, but some stuff we haven't seen before. And I'll perhaps say it's a little bit of an appetizer before we finally get our hands on the expansion tomorrow. So guys, we're going to jump in and break it down in this video. If you do enjoy it, be sure to get subscribed if you're new around here, and I'll keep you posted with everything related to the new expansion. But now, let's get into it. And so initially for the new gameplay section, this was actually live streamed on the Xbox New Zealand channel. Of course, they'll be getting gameplay previews and things like that perhaps a little bit earlier. I'll link the full video down below, although the section for Destiny is pretty much a couple of minutes long right here. So they've run some trailer sections and then, spoiler alert, of course, if you don't want to see any Beyond Light gameplay whatsoever. We do see some pretty low spoiler kind of story gameplay right here. So we can see on the story quest, stealing stasis, escape the fallen city. There's some bits of combat in here, little clips with exotic weapons, although nothing too crazy. And so before we talk about any more of it, let's check it out in full. Pretty cool in particular to see some of the enemies, the kind of mission stuff going on in the background as well, as a better look at some of what Europa will actually be like in terms of combat and things like that. And we see the new kind of Insurrection Prime style Fallen tanks that the Empire of Dark Fallen on Europa are using, and these are called Brigs. Bungie sticking with those kind of Fallen pirate themed names. Pretty cool enemies right there, don't look too devastating, but of course this is story gameplay, and I think these could have the potential to be pretty nasty in some of the endgame content. Of course, otherwise in this section, we can see that the players are kind of trapped in a specific area. We've got new weapons and things like that, as well as some stasis abilities being used. Unfortunately, the Titan in the clip right here didn't switch to the exotic sword in the gameplay because we can see they have got that equipped. And then moving on right here, there is a second scene. We see that new rocket launcher in action, as well as the Stranger's Rifle, no time to explain. Can't see the exotic bonus or anything activating on this one. But of course, precision hits and hits against enemies affected by stasis are going to return rounds to the magazine. And then you can stack that effect to summon a portal, which will fire the bullets from an alternate timeline of the weapon, but I don't believe that enemy is affected by stasis in any of those clips right there. Another pretty interesting thing right here, it seems pretty likely this is mission gameplay of some sort again, and we can see the new kind of Darkness Fallen on Europa, but also in the background we actually have Spider Associates, so there are friendly ally kind of Fallen or Spider Associates specifically appear to be up on the kind of cliffside there. So we are going to get a little bit of help from the Spider by the looks of things. That totally makes sense based on some of the teasers and things that we've seen. And then there is what appears to be a new Xbox Series X or all of the new generations promoed alongside Destiny and the Icy Ghost Shell. So just a little bit more of a look right there at some of the stuff we'll see in Beyond Light. Give us your thoughts about it down below. And once again, I'll link the original stream and details in the description. Otherwise, Jinsa did actually post the kind of title screen and menu for Beyond Light. I believe you got this from the early preload version from the PlayStation 4. You can see what the title screen itself will look like here, but there's also the music, some of which we could hear some background music in the gameplay a moment ago. But if you want to check that out in full, I'll simply link his video down below and you can take a look. And since we are immediately before the launch of Beyond Light and the preload, let's once again mention the timeline for when things are going to happen. So today at 3:30 p.m. PST, which is 23:30 UTC, which includes the UK, background maintenance for the update is going to begin. And then at 4 p.m. PST, which is midnight here in the UK, in preparation for the download, players are going to be removed from activities. Sign in for the game is also going to be disabled, and then at 7 p.m, D2 will be brought offline for expective maintenance. Then finally, at 9 a.m. PST on November 10th, D2 update 3.001 will be available across all platforms and regions, and players will be able to log into Destiny 2. And so of course for PlayStation, we're now past November 8th, and preload is available, so if you're on PlayStation you can start to get that one done. And then for Xbox, preload is anticipated to be available shortly after D2 is taken offline at 7 p.m. PST, which is 3 in the morning UTC, and that includes the UK. So around about that time, download will begin to roll out. And then for PC, the preload will be available shortly after, once again at 7 p.m. PST, which is 3 a.m. UTC. And of course for Xbox Series X, we've got a 65 gig download, for PS5, a 70 gig download, and then for PS4, another 70 gig download, but you need 171 gig of free space to do the install. Finally, for a standard Xbox, 65 gig download, and PC will need a 69.7 gig download, but will need a total install space of 186.2 gig. And so if you needed an extra heads up about any of that info, there we go. But I'll also link This Week at Bungie down in the description below, and if you follow that article, they have a full breakdown of all of those times, download sizes, and that good stuff. But for today, guys, that's what we have to talk about in this video. So as always, I hope you have enjoyed it. If you have, a like rating down below really does help us out, but also let us know if you're excited to jump into Beyond Light. And otherwise, feel free to get subscribed if you're new around here, because we're going to have a hell of a lot of content for D2 over the next few days. But otherwise, whatever you guys get up to, I hope you have an awesome week.